In breaking news, Czech businessman Radovan Krejcir has been arrested. According to police, Cretcher was arrested shortly after 6 o'clock this evening on charges of attempted murder and kidnapping. For more on this breaking news story, I'm joined on the line by reporter Karyn Maughan. Karyn, good evening. He was picked up just about 2 hours or so ago. Where was he at the time?
Well, we understand from his lawyer that he was in fact at his home in Bedfordview. Of course, he lived on the same street as the late Lolly Jackson. His wife, Katerina, son Dennis, and baby son were not there. We have tried to contact Karyn Maughan, who's clearly overseas. She's told us that she knows nothing of the arrest and responded to a message with, "Oh my God, I am so worried." So certainly those close to him, not fully conversant with exact circumstances under which this arrest happened. We know that there was an ambulance. We understand that there was some kind of medical issue during the arrest, but still no clarity, Iman, on exactly what that was. Remember that in previous criminal court actions, Radovan Krejcir has claimed that he was someone who suffered from very ill health, particularly issues with his bladder. He's made much of the fact that he said at one stage that he suffered from very serious disease, so we don't know if that medical issue was related to that.
Where is he being held tonight, Karyn?
His own lawyers do not know that. We know I've spoken at length to his attorney. They say they have no idea which division of the police arrested him or indeed where he is being held. They are currently driving around and trying to find him. Of course, Iman, when the police arrest you on a Friday afternoon or evening, it's usually a display of absolute animosity because the police know full well that because of the timing of this arrest, Radovan Krejcir will have to spend the weekend in jail. He will only be able to apply for bail on Monday. And so he will have to spend the weekend in police holding cells. At this stage, however, we have no idea where that is. His lawyers frantically trying to find out.
And there's no doubt, Karyn, that he has been legitimately arrested by legitimate police.
Well, we have the police on record saying that this is an arrest. Certainly no details on what exactly prompted this arrest, which incident. There's been a furore of speculation on social media networks like Twitter. His own lawyers saying they're not even sure of the exact charges that he faces. We know that there's been suggestions that this related to an incident in Ermelo, suggestions that this related to the Money Point bomb blast, but certainly at this point, rife speculation and very little fact. We know that the two people who survived that bomb blast have been released from hospital, but my understanding is that they are very close friends of Radovan Krejcir, so at this point it's not exactly sure that they would be the source of any such charges.
It is unusual, though, Karyn, for an accused to not be able to contact, at the very least, his legal team or his family.
It is very, very unusual. His phone is off, which is highly unusual for him. Usually he's very much available if you try and get hold of him. In the entire time that I've known him, I've never known him to switch his phone off. So that certainly is unusual. We know that he was in the presence of his bookkeeper when he was arrested, and he is certainly someone who, during my interactions, has very much come across as someone who is fully conversant with his constitutional rights vis-a-vis criminal arrest. So I think I would certainly assume that he would be trying to contact his family members and his lawyers. And it's become very apparent during my interactions with his wife that she heard about this news through us. So certainly at this point, it may well speak to kind of potentially, perhaps, Iman, a medical emergency which has left him unable to communicate with his family, or perhaps more probably, a degree of animosity with the police service that has arrested Radovan Krejcir on at least two different separate occasions and has failed to make charges stick, and that we may see some of that animosity playing itself out now.
Well, we will certainly try and get the provincial police department, their spokespeople, on the line to give us more details. I'm judging from our conversation that you're not sure when we are likely to get another update from official sources.
Well, the police have said that they will have a press conference tomorrow at 12, which in itself is quite highly unusual. We do see a lot of arrests happening, and very, very unlike the police to have a press conference on, before the accused person has even appeared in court. Certainly, it speaks to their enthusiasm about this particular arrest and perhaps their need to explain. We know that the Hawks have distanced themselves to some degree from this. They're saying that this is a police arrest, not a Hawks arrest. So we don't know if they are in fact, parallel investigations running, that the Hawks SARS and the police are running parallel investigations separately from each other, or whether or not this is the beginning of a large-scale criminal investigation and prosecution of Radovan Krejcir.
Yes, so as it stands now, we're not sure if more arrests are possibly being effected as we speak.
Well, certainly we know that his so-called henchman, Ivan Savov, was denied bail in the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court today. But that case, in its essence, has nothing to do with Radovan Krejcir, apart from, one of the deceased people from the bomb blast being involved, as named as an accused or a suspect in that particular case. And the implication from some of the SARS documentation being that a company linked to Cretcher was involved in that matter. But we don't know. Our understanding is from the lawyers that they're not aware of any other arrests. Certainly at this stage, we expect that if any such arrests were to be effected, we're probably very likely to only hear about them tomorrow from the police.
And that's
News that moves. eNCA.com.